Hey, so we're here to talk a little bit more about weight management for athletes. In this section, we're going to talk about weight loss. And so many athletes are interested in weight management because they believe favorable changes in body weight or composition will give them a competitive edge, make them faster, more agile, have more power. Athletes also, they want to look good like everybody else, and athletes want to be healthy. So there's some, really good reasons why I get asked about this all the time. So some considerations for athletes. All right. So we're going to start up here and be looking at these. If you're considering, trying to lose weight or lose body fat, the first thing you want to think about is choosing an eating plan that is sustainable. And by sustainable, I mean you can live with it. It's not so rigid and restrictive that it's like being in food jail. Okay. And I want all athletes to love your bodies. Your body does amazing things for you. And so again, to get caught up with an obsession with the scale or body fat percentage does you no good. Okay? Leaner doesn't necessarily translate into better performance. Okay? Athletes that are lean but are underfueled are not going to perform as well as an athlete that is properly fueled. Very important to understand that. The fueling aspect is huge. So we're going to talk about some pros of fad diets and cons of fad diets. Um, initially, an athlete may not be eating very well at all. Okay, might have a really um, nutrient poor, high calorie, high saturated fat, high sodium diet. Okay. So adding strict rules and getting rid of a lot of these foods makes it simple, all right, and it might actually be an improvement over what they were originally eating. Any change would be better, all right. But over time, these rules are so strict they're very hard to stick to. Another pro is, as we mentioned in a previous section, if you cut out calories, and you cut them very low, or if you cut carbohydrates very low, you will see an initial weight loss that is fast, a large amount or a short period of time, and that gets people excited and motivated and all happy. But we know now that a lot of that initial weight lost is water weight. So, but those are pros. I mean, people get excited. It's a little easy to follow. It's got these strict rules. Do this, don't do this, and not that. And so it simplifies things. Cons of fad diets. Well, for athletes and for everyone, people in general, there is no one size fits all diet plan that works for everybody, right? And when you work with a sports dietitian, they always customize the diet to fit your individualized needs, right? Many fad diets are so restrictive that you can't follow them for a long period of time. And because they're so restrictive, they cut your calories too low, and you lose out on important nutrients. And not having your favorite foods and being in food jail can lead to binging. Okay, and the low calorie intake leads to improper fueling pre and post exercise. Muscles don't have the components that they need from food to rebuild and repair. And then one of the most important things to remember is that fad diets come and go, all right? And there's a new king, but I mean the new most popular diet every few years. Why is that? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because they don't work or they're hard to stick to, right? All right, so I want to introduce a very important concept for athletes. It's called energy availability, EA. All right, so we're going to come over here and we're going to follow along this path. All right, so athletes trying to lose weight must still be conscious of eating enough calories to cover the calories they burn through training and have enough calories left over to support all those body functions. So remember in the previous couple of videos, we were introduced to the resting energy expenditure, the basal metabolic rate, the number of calories you burn to sustain your life processes at complete rest, right? So you need to have enough calories to be able to support that. Low energy availability, right? Not taking in enough food or calories from food leads to chronic fatigue, decreased gains and decreased performance, lower immunity, altered menstrual functions, stress fractures, a whole host of things, right? So we have a very simplified way to calculate energy availability. It's not the whole entire formula. I simplified it just to make it easier to understand for everybody. So energy availability here is calories consumed minus the total calories burned through exercise, right? So energy availability would be the calories left over, okay? So here we have an athlete. Sharon is a volleyball player. She's trying to lose weight. She's eating 1,500 calories a day, but she's burning 800 calories a day during her training. Her resting energy expenditure, the amount of calories, again, she needs to sustain her life processes, is 1,200 calories a day. Let's figure out her energy availability. Her energy availability, she's eating 1,500 calories a day. She's burning 800 calories a day. We subtract 800 from 1,500. That means she's got 700 calories remaining to cover her life processes, right? Everything else her body needs to do. So we know she's woefully short because she needs 1,200 calories a day for that. So clearly Sharon's 500 calories short of meeting her resting energy expenditure, and she has low energy availability. She's cut her calorie intake too low for healthy weight loss. All right, and so we see this with athletes frequently, where maybe they're trying to lose weight, or maybe they're just too tired to eat. They're living on their own. It could be they don't have money. There's all kinds of reasons why they might not be getting enough food. So let's assume that someone is an athlete and they're trying to lose weight, and they're coming to me for advice. Of course, I would talk to them about energy availability and making sure that they're not cutting their calories too low. And I really try and emphasize the concept of stop dieting, okay? Instead, you want to make peace with food, okay? You want to make a commitment to eating for optimal health and performance. That should really be the goal, right? So it might sound strange to be eating 3 meals with a couple of healthy snacks in it. You say, didn't you just tell me to do that to gain weight? And I did. The difference here is the portion sizes, okay, and the types of food, okay? But the portion sizes are going to be much smaller for a weight loss program as opposed to a weight gain program. But athletes still need to fool around their class schedule and their training schedule to make sure they have enough calories to be able to perform those duties or activities throughout the day. So protein at every meal. Protein is so important for weight loss. It helps to maintain lean muscle tissue. So we want to make sure that it's at every meal. And the other thing that protein does is it helps to make you feel full. Includes some snacks with protein throughout the day. Focus on whole grains. They're more fruits and vegetables. These foods give you more volume for fewer calories and are more filling. Look at food labels, use the tracker apps, and always best to attempt weight loss in the off season. And this is the National Weight Loss Registry. This keeps track of people who have successfully lost weight and kept it off. And so you can check this out for some statistics on what these people do. All right, so this is a weight management plate for an athlete. So you can see half the plate is vegetables. These, again, lower calorie foods, but larger volume, okay? And you can see for weight management, this would be, there's still pasta, rice, potato, cereal, breads, legumes considered, but a smaller portion on their plate. And then they've got a good section from lean proteins, okay? So that's a really nice visual of what your plate should look like if you're trying to lose weight. So here's the section for protein right here with the dotted line. All right, and so this shows you how to eat more food, okay, but not as many calories. So here we have what's called a higher energy density meal versus a lower energy density meal. So this meal of just the salad has 500 calories in it. It's just lettuce with dressing and a few croutons. So if we weighed out the salad, it weighs 280 grams. We take the total calories in the salad, divide it by 280. It's got an energy density of 1.78. You're not going to feel feel filled up on the salad. There's no protein in it. There's very little fiber in it. It's just lettuce with fat, basically. Right? Over here we have a lower energy density meal. All right, this meal has the same amount of calories, but look at all the extra food you get to eat for those 500 calories. The total weight of the meal is 570 grams. All right, 500 calories divided by 570 grams is an energy density of 0.88. So it's much lower. So basically you get a whole lot more food for those same 500 calories than you do with just this lettuce. All right, so they made changes here. They got rid of that high calorie dressing. All right, and instead of using the high calorie dressing, they put 3 ounces of chicken breast in there. All right, they put a little bit of lean ham. You can put a dinner roll. Over here, if you look at the bottom, okay, you have a large hot dog with potato salad. Who would guess that meal has 650 calories? If we weigh that meal, the total volume is 265 grams. Take the total calories, divide it by the weight, energy density of 2.45, right? Look at all the food that you can eat here for that same 650 calories. If we weigh the food out, 810, so a huge volume of food compared to this. 650 divided by 810, an energy density of 0.8. People tend to eat with their eyes. People are going to feel more satisfied, sorry about that, when they're eating larger volumes of food. So you can eat larger volumes of food for fewer calories. Big skill for helping to keep weight off. All right, and the very last slide in this section just has to do with risks for being overweight. And I just want to talk about football players. NFL football players are known for struggling with weight issues after they retire. You know, they're big on the field. They need to be. But then what happens afterwards? Okay. And so many of them are dealing with diabetes, heart disease, and hypertension. There are a lot of health risks associated with excess fat. So helping these athletes is important as well.